Cannon. I work as a paraeducator at North Shore School District, Seattle, Washington. I am glad and honored to be presenting a topic on communication skills that tops the first among the other skills required in today's competitive world. As I was preparing for my presentation, I was sitting at my desk writing the introduction. My little one, who is 10 years old, came up to me and was staring at me. He said, "Mom, why are you still sitting in front of the laptop when the school is out? You should be coming downstairs and having fun with us. You should be playing with us right now." And then, today's kids, they are very resilient, they are very assertive, and they know how to advocate for themselves, right? Fair enough, I should explain things to him. So I told him I had to help a friend with a small presentation. And then he just came up to me and took a glance at my notes and started asking me questions. Curious George. And he said, "Mom, why did you write, 'We live to communicate, we communicate to live'? Why do you think that only living things communicate? Non-living things communicate too in this world." And I was so astonished and surprised by his question. And I looked at him and asked him, "Why do you think so? What makes you think so?" And then without any hesitation, he said, "Okay, let me give you some examples. The dark gray clouds and the sky communicate that it is going to rain." And he gave me another example too. I was so surprised and I was so proud enough of my little one. He said, "The flat tire in a car indicates that we can drive the car to the store." So yes, that made me think, but not right now. I told him, "Okay, buddy, I'll get back to you later. I need to finish this presentation first. I need to help my friend. I will deal with you later." And I just gave him a hug and I started writing my presentation. I hope this presentation would be helpful to all of you. I have tried to include each and every nuances or skills that are required. I hope you will enjoy this presentation. Let's get started.
Effective communication is 20% what you know and 80% how you feel about what you know, says Jim Rohn, American author. When does your communication becomes effective? And how do you conclude or know that your message has created an impact on the audience? To communicate effectively on the first hand, you should have a clear sketch or idea about the topic you are going to deliver. That is, 20% knowledge of what you know about the topic. On the other hand, 80% depends on how you are going to deliver the message that you know, allowing the audience to listen and grab the message 100%. Let me show you a communication model that talks to you about the communication process. A communication process requires a sender and a receiver to deliver the message as well as to get the feedback. This is how the process of communication happens. The sender sends or encodes the signal or message through a medium or channel to the receiver. The receiver, in turn, understands and analyzes the message and sends his or her feedback to the sender through the same medium or sometimes through a different one. And finally, the sender decodes it. This process is interdependent. When this process happens, both the sender and the receiver may sometimes experience some noise that is called barriers in communication. For instance, when you are watching news in a TV channel and suddenly you experience a power cut, you may not be able to listen to the entire news. This is considered to be a technical barrier. The TV channel, who is the sender here, may not be able to deliver the message to its audience, who acts as the receiver because of the technical issue. Another example is when you are talking to your friend over phone and your mom needs you to run errands and calls you from the kitchen. You have to obviously hang up the phone in order to listen to what she says. This is called emotional barrier that comes out of fear. So, the message that you were expecting to convey to your friend could not be accomplished because of the barrier. I could virtually picturize many friends here nodding their heads to approve with this. Okay, guys, jokes apart now. Likewise, there are language barriers, cultural and gender barriers that often affect us from communicating effectively. Okay, here we see a diagram that shows the 4 communication skills that a good speaker is expected to have. So we have thinking, listening, speaking, and nonverbal skills. First, let's talk about the thinking skills. Communication is better defined as what is received, not what is transmitted. As I'm giving this presentation, many of you would be thinking what this presentation is about. Would it help me to mold myself? Help me build my personality and my career? This thinking process in communication is called intrapersonal communication, which is communication within oneself. People filter communication based on their experience, their emotional state, and their thinking styles. And these factors directly impact the quality of communication. We use thinking skills every day. They help us to make the right decisions and establish a connection. Communicating and responding aptly ends a communication process. Thinking and listening fall under intrapersonal communication. They require only one person to get involved in the communication process. Our next skill would be listening. Active listening involves eye contact. Holding eye contact during the conversation shows the speaker that you give him your attention and that you really care about what he says. The next one is maintaining a good posture. Show the speaker that you're listening by using facial expressions such as a smile, nodding your head, and your posture. Your appearance and positions encourage the speaker to share and to continue the conversation. Body gestures and language are a whole science. Your body gestures tell the speaker whether you listen carefully or not. And the next one is avoid distractions. Be aware of listening barriers and stay focused. There are so many examples of distractions, such as our thoughts, mobile phones, gadgets, music, and side activities. For instance, when the teacher is giving a lecture, you would be thinking of what your mom's cooking for dinner. That is again a distraction in the classroom, or sometimes you might even get texts from friends who are sitting in the next or the nearby classrooms. That is again a different kind of distraction. So try to avoid these distractions when you're in the listening process. And the last one is give feedback. Ask questions to clarify specific points and share opinions. Build the trust by letting the speaker know that his message was practical and beneficial through your valuable comments. That helps the speaker to do profound research and understand his areas of improvement for his future presentations. Let's move on to the next skill, that is the speaking skill. Speaking and nonverbal skills come under interpersonal communication. They require two people to deliver the message back and forth. The most effective way to communicate is through speech. Speaking skills are a vitally important method of communication. Speaking clearly and confidently can gain the attention of an audience. Articulate clearly. Assess the needs and priorities of a potential audience and try to hook the audience with a powerful opening and be quick to the point. Be clear in your communication. Do not beat around the bush. Make sure you give accurate information needed by the audience and try to avoid using filler words. You also need to be able to pace yourself so you finish on time. Be confident. Being confident is the most significant role that a speaker should play while delivering a speech. Organize a logical flow to the speech and memorize enough content so that the statement does not come off as a reading of notes. Make sure you moderate vocal tone to emphasize important points and avoid monotonous presentation. It's always better to rehearse the presentation and revise rough spots. And the next one is research information. Do a thorough research about the latest trends in industry before presenting at the seminar. For instance, if it is a presentation about robotics, make sure you have researched and learned much about the new terms, recent models, and techniques invented by the engineers. Prepare examples that are relevant to the experience of the expected audience. The next one is restate critical points. At the end of the speech, try to restate critical points to cement critical concepts. And this is very essential while delivering a speech. Though the audience have their pens and notes handy, they might miss some information due to distractions around them. Restating the points helps and keeps them on the line. The next one is be open-minded. Express reactions and opinions without intimidating others. Encourage others to express their views even though it is contrary. Make the audience comfortable, letting them know that every idea or feedback is worthy of consideration. Find creative ways to obtain input from others. And the last and final one is review feedback. Reviewing the feedback helps the speaker to modify the approach for his talks in the future. Sometimes the audience come up with great constructive ideas that could add spice to your speech or presentation. Feedbacks help you to imbibe and learn from various perceptions of different audiences. Let's move on to our next skill, nonverbal. Nonverbal. Around 70 to 80% of communication is nonverbal. These nonverbal signals give clues and additional information, giving meaning to the conversation. They can happen both consciously and unconsciously. And our first one would be body language, that is also called kinesics. The study of body movements and gestures is called kinesics. Body language speaks more than words. I would like to give you an example about the importance of nonverbal communication. Okay, for instance, imagine that you are a customer interested in opening a new bank account. At one bank, the bank officer is dressed neatly. She looks you in the eye when she speaks. Her tone is friendly, her words are easy to understand, yet she sounds professional. She says, "Thank you for considering so and so bank. We appreciate this opportunity and would love to explore ways that we can work together to help your business grow," she says with a friendly smile. On the other hand, in the second bank, the bank officer's tie is stained. He looks over your head and down at his desk as he speaks. He shifts in a seat and fidgets with his hands. His words say, "Thank you," blah 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 blah, and he mumbles and his voice conveys no enthusiasm or warmth. Which bank would you choose? Obviously, I would choose the first banker, as she looked friendly and professional. I hear some of her friends say that they choose the first banker because she is pretty and well dressed. I'm with you guys and I understand you. Okay, let's not drift away from our topic. So, the first banker is very friendly and professional, and obviously, we would choose that person for our transactions. The speaker's body language must match his or her words. We cannot smile while telling a sad tale and cannot pose a sad face while telling a story with happy ending, right? And what is our next one? Our next one is physical distance. The study of personal space is called proxemics. This is a very important factor, and every culture has different levels of physical closeness appropriate to different types of relationships, and individuals learn these distances from society in which they grow up. And the next one is facial expressions. Facial expressions give you an instant reaction to your message. The muscles of our faces convey our emotions. We can send a silent message without saying a word. A change in facial expression can change our emotional state. For example, when a teacher enters a noisy classroom and raises her eyebrows with wide open eyes, it means the students will be in trouble if they don't keep quiet. You can expect a calm classroom after the teacher's facial expression. We have also learned to use emojis with different facial expressions in our text instead of typing a lengthy message. That's right. That's very true. We are making life easier with emojis in our text. And the last one is tone and pitch of the voice. The tone and pitch of your voice alert the audience and helps them stay focused on your speech. It increases their expectation and curiosity to listen to your message. Intonation creates an impact on any type of communication. Now, tell me how many of you can very well differentiate the tones of your parents when they are happy or angry towards you? Everyone is in the game. Don't worry, guys. Okay, you see a model here. This is a model created by Professor Albert Mehrabian, University of California, Los Angeles, on the elements of personal communication. Like how you need to add spice, salt, and other ingredients to make your dish taste delicious, you need to add these elements to communicate effectively. According to his model, he states that only 7% of what we communicate consists of the verbal content of the message, which means the content either in the oral or written form. The next one is based on how we say it. The use of one's voice, such as tone, intonation, and volume, also known as paraverbal, takes up to 38%, and as much as 55% of communication consists of body language. That takes most of the value in the chart model. Nonverbal communication happens through expressions, gestures, postures, and body language. Therefore, nonverbal plays a significant role than verbal in the communication process. Okay, let's move on to our next segment, that is essentials of communication. What skills do you need to express yourself elegantly and make everyone believe that you are the right fit? The first one would be assess your skills. Then adapt content and level of detail to your audience. The third one is speak effectively and demonstrate poise. The fourth is manage anxiety effectively. The next one is speak with enthusiasm. Sixth, involve the audience. And the last one, use nonverbal behavior to emphasize key points. Let's take a look at each one of these. The first one being assess your skills. Assess your skills. First, analyze your strengths and assess your skills candidly. Note situations when you're comfortable, when you're not, and when people respond well. When it is possible, do a mock trial and videotape yourself and check the videos. Think of a few points and ask yourself, will the audience be impressed and interested in what I say and how I say it? Will they see me as a confident, capable speaker? Am I comfortable with my style, pace, and intonation? Am I showing appropriate enthusiasm for the topic? Am I using lively, engaging language? Yes, it is definitely vital to assess your skills before any conversation or a presentation and analyze your obstacles that keep you from expressing yourself persuasively. The next one is adapt content and level of detail to your audience. The first one is clear and concise messages. People generally respond best to messages that are clear and unambiguous. They want to know what the topic is, some relevant and appropriate facts, and why it matters to them. A good speaker should analyze his audience as thoroughly as possible. He should ask himself, what do people know about the topic? How diverse is the audience? Can I discuss the matter in a way that includes and relates to everyone? Yes, these are some important points that you should keep in mind. And the third one is do not use technical terms and terminologies not understood by the majority of people in the audience group. For instance, a biology professor cannot keep quoting many biological words when addressing a diverse audience. He had to choose ideas, keywords, contents, and supporting materials that will be relevant and convincing to the audience. The next one is speak effectively and demonstrate poise. Most people have a good idea of what they need to speak effectively in front of a group. They prepare, relax, and articulate. Actively involve your audience so that they feel like you are talking with them rather than at them. Keep people on the topic, play off the ideas and energy of the listeners, and keep the focus on your message. Take your topic seriously, but do not take yourself too seriously. Be ready to answer a wide range of questions. Use nonverbal actions that show your conviction. Project your voice, smile, and use broad gestures and enjoy yourself and the speaking process. Your listeners will detect your confidence and also enjoy themselves more. And our next one is manage anxiety effectively. This is very important to each and every one of us. That's right. Even the most polished, competent presenters experience nervousness. Try to eliminate presentation anxiety by preparing yourself before the speech. Do what you need to do to feel prepared. Concentrate on your message and your audience, not on yourself and your performance. That is very true. Do not speak too fast or too slow. Follow a pace. If you stutter or stumble, stop, take one or two deep breaths, and then continue. Remember that most people are looking for information, not perfection. They want to be reasonably engaged in your speech and will forgive some mistakes as long as you are obviously prepared and making an effort. Let's move on to our next one. Speak with enthusiasm. I believe we have a lot of enthusiastic speakers here. People tend not to listen to speakers who are not interesting. Presentations are even more challenging. If you want to engage, motivate, or inspire people, you need to be an enthusiastic and expressive speaker. Use your voice to show your interest and passion during a dialogue. Package your message attractively. Use compelling stories and exciting visuals. On the other hand, don't force enthusiasm. You don't have to be overly animated to show you are excited about an idea. The next one is involve the audience. Wow, this is so cute. We have a lot of little buddies in here. Presenters aren't guaranteed the attention of their viewers. They have to earn it. If you are presenting to an audience that does not know you, you walk around and talk to people before you speak. Ask about their interest in your topic. Incorporate what you learn from the audience to your presentation. And keep the session interactive. To keep people from getting restless to listening to your speech, vary your vocal projection, pitch, and pace. Make eye contact with individuals. Use a visual aid because a picture is worth 1,000 words. Tell an anecdote or a first hand story. Invite questions from the audience. And the last one being use appropriate humor. Used well, humor is a beautiful aid to communication, helping you diffuse emotion, build relationships, and improve morale. Used poorly, humor can hurt people, create distance, and create an uncomfortable situation. Humor is highly personal. When you use humor, consider what effect your words will have on all the people you're talking to. Be especially sensitive to gender, diversity, and religion. Humor is cultural. What is funny or acceptable in one culture may not be in another. Here we are at the last segment, which is use nonverbal behavior to emphasize key points. The first one here we see a speaker standing tall and brave addressing a huge audience. Okay, the first one being facial animation and eye contact. Your face displays your attitudes and emotions, so make sure your expressions match your content and your intent. Find opportunities to smile. Adopt a smile whenever you can. Eye contact conveys your confidence and your interest in the audience. Make eye contact with many members of the audience. Avoid gazing exclusively at one person and making him or her feel uncomfortable. Next one is vocal variety. Develop an active speaking voice that varies in pace, pitch, volume, and tone. The audience get fascinated more by your voice tone and pace rather than by your content. Sivagami's tone and pitch of voice in the movie Bahubali is a best example of vocal variety. I'm a big fan of Ramya Krishnan, guys. And the next one is gestures and stunts. Use gestures to emphasize and reinforce your statements. Allow gestures to flow naturally from your message. For example, if you're excited and enthusiastic about your news, use more frequent and expressive gestures to deliver. I'd like to pick our Tamil comedian Vadivelu as an example who flourished in his career only through his body language and gestures in his movies. He doesn't have to say anything, just his presence and body language attracts people and makes them laugh. Isn't that a blessing? I'm a massive fan of him and I love his comedies. They reduce my stress levels. And in stance, adopt a relaxed position and move in ways that complement and support your message. A rigid posture usually conveys nervousness, and random walking or other movements tend to be distracting. Dress appropriately for the audience and the situation, as there is a saying, first impressions often begin with how someone is dressed.
No matter what job you are in, your success is determined 5% by academic credentials, 15% by your professional experiences, and 80% by your communication skills. If you plan to enter a workforce after you graduate, you will need to be hired, right? So if you want to be hired, you must help the potential employers form an impression that you are someone who will be a motivated, enthusiastic, committed, goal-oriented, and talented employee who is well prepared to use both your interpersonal skills and your critical thinking skills to perform your job in a more competent, productive, and positive manner. Communication is about being active, not always being proper. Communicating effectively is not rocket science and it cannot be achieved overnight. Trust me, guys, it comes through practice and practice only. Don't worry about constructing beautiful sentences. Beauty comes from meaning, not language. So keep practicing and practice until you see the lightning strike someday. And toss away your fears, your anxiety, your diffidence, and walk bravely through the dark tunnel to see the light on the other side. Good luck to all of you, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.